Alright, let's talk Nightingale. Now, this is a game I've been super pumped about for the past few months. Ever since I saw an ad for it, I was like, I'm going to sign up for this. I was on their Discord, I was on their preliminary signups for pre-release and all that stuff. Now that it released a couple days ago, a buddy of mine, we got together and decided to give it a run. So, got about 10 hours of experience now. I want to get into it. I'm going to go into as much detail as I possibly can in about 10 minutes. Just being specific, but also vague enough to where, you know, you get to experience it yourself. So with that being said, welcome to the Hollow Studio channel. Let's get into this review. So first thing, I mean, I'm sure you know a little bit at this point, but just to give an overview of Nightingale, it's just a survival game where you're in these realms and you're trying to ultimately end up in Nightingale. That is like the keystone area that you're trying to get back to as you're hopping these different worlds. Each world has its own ability. You can change the look and feel of them based on the cards that you obtain throughout the game. Just like any other survival game, you have materials that you farm, you have things that you're crafting, and you can use all those things to heighten your skills. And as you go throughout the world, different mobs you can fight as well to get other materials. So first off, on a surface level, the graphics are phenomenal. I mean, games nowadays are obviously looking better, but this one really did well in terms of just the scenery, the types of creatures. Everything was very immersive in that sense. Alongside with that is the sound design. Sound design is just as immersive. I mean, there were some like tiny details that they were throwing in there for just little flutters here or sparkly sounds there. Great use of sounds and good selections. Really loved how it looked, really loved how it sounded. Now, one of the other biggest things I wanted to address was the multiplayer compatibility. I've been looking for a game that I could just play with some friends to not rage at or get all mad at each other. Have a game where it could be helpful and fun, just a team game. So the perfect person to bring along for this adventure was JT. He's one of my favorite people in the world, but also we've run hours and hours and hours of Rust together. We have run hours of Roblox together playing tycoon games. We've run hours of CS2 together just raging at whoever. I say all that to say we're used to grinding, we're used to pain, we're used to the struggle of a video game. So as we went through this together, it did progress very well. There were plenty of times where I was stressed about a mission not being completed if, you know, JT completed it. For instance, if we needed to travel to a different realm and we're on the same mission, is it going to complete it for me, or am I going to have to come back later and do it myself? None of those issues occurred, so that was very nice. If somebody starts a realm, that realm can be open to you whenever you want to. They don't have to be on to play. You don't have to be on to play. Everybody can either just play on their own or play together. Simple as that. So that is super nice. I didn't have to go pay for a realm on Minecraft, $20 or whatever a month. I'm probably exaggerating. I don't play Minecraft much anymore, but you get the point. There was none of that. So it is nice that it's online. There are a lot of complaints about it being online servers, but overall, I think it's a good direction to go. And to be fair, every game that launches early has server issues. There's tons of people playing. There's a lot going on. Like, give them a break. Don't put them on that. It is a little annoying, but it's normal. Another thing I want to look into is the mechanics and the feel of the game. It's definitely a smooth game. Now granted, because there are the server issues, it does stutter quite a bit, so that does take away a little bit from the immersion. But overall, it has a little floaty feel. When you're jumping, you're more floating. It seems like the gravity is a little bit lower, but I like it. It's not a basic just stomp around game. Mechanics aren't too complicated. It's your basic swing a hammer, swing an axe. You can block, you can shoot things. Nothing too complicated or intensive. Now, to really get into all of it, I want to focus on the story and the main gameplay. For the storyline purposes, the main concept, it has a ton of potential. This game seems to be like a child of the Forest, Fallout 4, maybe some BioShock. Overall, I don't think, for a story perspective, it was the best executed for a survival game. I don't sense any like crazy twist happening within the story, but that's pretty much because I'm not entirely sure what's even going on. I mean, there's the concept, like they give you the story, but it's kind of vague. Not real clear who I am in the situation. I'm more like figuring that out as I go along, but it's really not that interesting. I'm just a realm hopper and that's it. Like, I'm trying to find Nightingale. that's the extent of it. There's not a whole lot of depth and development in the story, and it's kind of frustrating. As far as I'm concerned, the main storylines really just kind of checklisty, and there's nothing that you can kind of get on side tangents on. Like, there's exploration in the game, but as far as the story is concerned, it's pretty much streamlined. There's not a whole lot of side quests you can do or decisions you're going to make that change what's going on. Now, next I wanted to talk about was the crafting. Obviously, this is fundamental to any survival game, and this one felt pretty grindy, but I'm not opposed to that. I felt like the complexity was unique and fun, but like I said, JT and I are used to grinding all the time for hours, so this is something that does appeal to me. It may not appeal to most people, but for people who are really into the complexity of the crafting and the different things that items do, it's a good game for you. You wouldn't be deterred by the crafting and the time it takes. Alongside crafting, you're also building, so these go hand in hand. It's very simple. The building looks good. You don't have to put too much time into building a mansion. It's not really the point of this. I guess you could if you want, but that's more like what Sims 4 is for. Go play that instead. Overall, it was neat. I mean, there's different perks, like you can build campfires next to things, like if you're resting, it makes it go faster, or crafting, it makes it go faster. It's nice because there is some realism to it. You can't just throw a sleeping bag on the ground and sleep. You have to put it under a shelter. Pretty intuitive, but also not too complicated. Now, this next part is something JT and I discussed that we think really hindered this game, and that's the AI. Starting with the friendly AI, there was just so many problems. I mean, they're just teleporting everywhere. There's points where you can actually recruit them, so they're more like helpers for you. They're just teleporting everywhere. They're just chopping trees endlessly. You never know when it's gonna fall on your head and take away half of your health because they just don't stop. You have no control of them. They are virtually impossible to kill from other AI that you're encountering. They start with a wooden axe. Every single one of them that you encounter starts with a wooden axe. You recruit them and they're invincible. They smack every level 20 creature like it's a breeze, have no issue with it, as we're having to constantly like grow and keep our stuff up to date to beat these things. All the mobs just crowd around them. There's no way to control the AI. You can't tell them to stop chopping trees. You can't tell them to stay somewhere. There are so many issues. I honestly would not be mad if they just took out all of the friendly AI recruits. If it could just be JT and I or just myself to play, I would not have an issue. I would not complain. Might be something to think about. Aside from the AI people that you're encountering, the AI wildlife is kind of glitchy. I think let me just showcase this clip. So yeah, that kind of stuff's a little annoying and wild, but at least they look good. They do look good. Shooting them's kind of fun. Chasing them down is interesting. Since we're talking about the friendly AI, there's also the enemy AI. These things look cool. I mean, every monster we encounter, we were just like, this is awesome. This is great. The problem is there's no struggle fighting them. There's nothing unique about them. There's nothing diverse about their fighting styles necessarily. They kind of just spam your friendly AI and you can just go up and smack a hammer at them. It's not complicated fighting stuff. At least they look good. So in conclusion, I'm not dissing this game. I'd probably give it a good 6.5 out of 10 because there's so much room for growth. Ultimately, like I said, the biggest problem, AI needs to be fixed. It ruins the immersion when Milton's chopping a tree next to me randomly for no reason. There's just so much left to explore that JT and I haven't really looked into, so maybe we're missing some stuff. So maybe there's some big bosses that are a little bit more intuitive, but it's just taking a long time to get there. Servers need to be fixed. That's a must. I love the route that they took. I love that I can just join my friend's community server and I don't have to wait for them to get on. The frame stuttering's just equally as annoying. I go to a new realm, I'm getting 40 frames. I have a 4070 graphics card. I should not be struggling running this game. So some optimizations would be nice, but overall, I think the concept's good. It is a fun $25 game to play with friends if you're interested. And that's our thoughts. Do as you wish. If you like to grind, you like to craft, you like to kill things, give it a shot. Otherwise, I'm out of here. Peace.